Welcome back to another video of the series Finance 101, where we're going to talk about saving your future. My name is Arnaldo Espinel, and I'm going to share with you some ideas about how to make things happen in the finance world, and also how to take care of different issues that you can solve now in order to avoid bigger problems in the future. Now I'm going to share some slides to illustrate my points. On behalf of World Financial Group, welcome to this session. This presentation that I'm going to share with you and the contents within are intended to provide a broad financial education and should not be construed as advice or a recommendation to take any action. This is a disclosure we need to share, and from now we're going to start talking about saving your future. We are going to talk about basic principles of building a financial foundation. Bad habits and poor decisions can add up. As you can see in the slide, we have no budget. We can go in life with no goals, spending a lot of money, not having an emergency fund, don't not living paycheck to paycheck, increasing our debts, and also not being interested at all in our financial future. So we need to think about what the wealthy people do and what they know that we don't know. How we can change this situation. First of all, we need to change our bad habits and substitute those habits for good habits. Now I will show you something I consider a very good tool in order to build a financial foundation. That is a planning tool, but will help us considering where we are, as you can see in the slide, your current financial situation, starting from the base to the top. And then, what are your goals? What will we have in the middle? What is the structure of the tool? In the first place, we need to consider proper protection. That includes insurances. We need to be protected for the uncertainty of lives, all the life events that we can face in our lives. Later, we have debt management. How much do we owe? How much do we have to pay in a monthly basis? How much money we're going to pay this year and next year? We also need a very sound emergency fund that will protect us from the unexpected events in our lives, like being laid off or moving to a different state or having an health emergency, and we are not covered completely with our insurance, like in the case of a deductible, or we need to help somebody. And lastly, we need to have investments. We need to invest our money. But basically, these are the numbers that experts tend to recommend. For proper protection, we should be protected for 10 times our income at least. Debt management, we need to drive to zero. We are pointing to zero debt. That is our goal. Emergency funds, at least 6 months. I personally recommend 10 months of emergency funds. So if you can, better if you can have a year. So for 1 year, if you lose your job, you can manage the situation for at least 1 year. But let's say expert recommend 6 months minimum. And for investment, trying to invest 20 times your current income. That is for your future financial goal. Now, each person is different. Each family is different. That depends on many factors like your personal goals, the money you already have, the incomes that you are planning to have in the future, how many kids do you have, etc. And we can help you making your own financial plan. Now we have here another very useful tool, which is the X-curve concept. When you see here, if we put time in the x-axis, you can see here that this curve with time start to decrease, and this curve with time start to increase. The dark blue curve is taking care of your family, represent your family, and the light blue or green curve represents taking care of yourself. In time, as you can see, taking care of your family decreases, and taking care of yourself increases. Taking care of your family, experts recommend this dime method, which includes debt, income, mortgage, and education. Those are the insurable needs. You can have an insurance for all these items. And when you are taking care of yourself in time, you need to take care of your money, your time, your rate of return, especially for investments, the inflation, the impact of inflation, and taxes. That will determine your wealth. So you may need 10 times your income to protect your family, but you may need 20 times your income, your current income, to take care of yourself in the future. We need to control our debt. Debt is not bad by itself, but we need to take control of that. And the first decision we need to make is to reduce our debt. There are many effective methods to reduce the debt to a reasonable level. So we need to consider how debt is affecting our life. If we can save $100 per month and dedicate that money to pay our debt, we can reduce in half the time we're going to be paying. This is another very practical tool that we can use. We can divide 72 by 6 and it will give us 12. This 12 means that our money will double every 12 years if we have that money invested at 6% and a rate of 6% per year. If our rate is 8% per year, we divide 72 by 8 and we're going to have 9 years in order to duplicate our money. And if we have 10% per year, we will need 7.2 years in order to duplicate the money. So basically, this is a good rule of thumb that will help us deciding where to put our money in order to maximize our return in time. Also, we need to consider, besides the rate of interest, we need to consider the effect of taxes and the effect of inflation. In this example, you can see that with 5% of interest, 3% of inflation, the actual return will be only 0.75% of these $100. So those are the three features that we need to take into account in order to make an investment decision and also in order to determine what is the real rate of return in our investments, considering the compound effect of money. Now, this effect of compound effect of money is so important that it can help us to make a lot of money in time. And that will start growing. It doesn't grow linearly, it grows exponentially. And I will show you an example right now with this. Let's assume that you have an income of $60,000 per year. And you set aside 10% per month and you put it into an account and a specific interest rate in compound interest. What it means is that we're talking about $500 per month, which is about $17 per day, which may mean having lunch every day in a cheap restaurant. If we, instead of having lunch in the cheap restaurant every day, we take these $17 per day and we put it together and invest that money at a specific rate. Let's say in 30 years, investing at 8% per year, you will have $745,000. And if you put it at 10% per year, you will have over $1 million. Instead of having, during these 30 years, having this lunch in a cheap restaurant, and you save that money, you will have $1 million when you retire. And that's a good amount of money for retirement. Very safe. So what you need is budgeting and discipline. Plan your work and work your plan. Now we have another enemy in our finance decisions, which is inflation. They call it here the silent killer. As you can see here, how, just talking about cost of living, okay? How the cost of housing has been increasing the cost of a gallon of gas, even when now it's a little cheaper, the cost of food and the wages. Wages have been increasing, surely, but look at this, not at the same proportion that a new home has been increasing, not at the same proportion that other expenses have been increasing. Thus, inflation is a big issue, and that's why we need to consider all our expenses and how they will be increasing their value in time, and how much it will impact us, because that will be an impact. And as we already said, our income won't grow at the same proportion than our expenses. And the other enemy is taxes. We need to learn how to handle taxes, because we need to pay taxes, but we also need to know where to put our money in order to avoid paying taxes that we don't need to pay. For example, if we have some money and we put it in checking account, savings, CDs, stock, or mutual funds, we're going to be paying now. Now meaning at the moment we earn the money or at the moment we use the money. Like in a mutual fund, when we sell the stock or we sell the mutual fund, we will have to pay the money, the taxes. Now, there are other instruments that will help us defer the tax payment, like 401ks, 403b, IRAs, annuities, pensions. And also, there are other instruments that will give us some advantage over taxes, like exceptions. For example, Roth IRA, 529 college saving, municipal bonds that can be tax exempt, HSA accounts, life insurance, of course, is free of, and long-term care benefits that can be also tax exempt. So knowing the impact of taxes in your money will help you building your financial future. This is the point. We need to manage growth strategy. In this graphic, you can see we have 4 quadrants. The first is growth, second is safety, tax advantage, and protection. Those 4 principles will guide us to make a very sound plan. In terms of growth, we can highlight the rate of return that should be enough to make our money grow, beating taxes and inflation. In terms of safety, we need to manage risk and help or ensure we are preserving our principal. We are not losing money here. In terms of tax advantage, we need to select tax deferred and tax advantage vehicles that can help us protect our money from tax impact. And also protection. We need to protect our income, we need to protect our assets and our life, including long-term care, disability, and chronic illness insurance. Those are the factors we need to consider here. In general, and as a summary, we need to build our future. We don't want our future to look like this. We don't want to be overwhelmed with retirement or longevity liabilities. We don't want to be outliving our money. We don't want to be overwhelmed by taxes, the state, asset, education. We have time to prepare for this. You need a financial checkup. I'm ready to help. We in World Financial Group can help you without charging you anything. We can help you defining first of all, what is your current financial situation, and from there, help you not only preparing a plan, but also helping you preparing a program to develop this protection strategy for your future. If you want to be part of this campaign, please contact me and ensure additional income while helping families achieve financial freedom. Also, if you like this video, please give us a like so we can continue promoting financial literacy in our society. Thank you very much for your attention and support.